Good morning, my fellow pipe smokers. This is the Krusty Codger coming at you from Paris, Texas. Yes, you heard right, Paris, Texas. I lived here for 3 years. Paris, Texas is about halfway between Sherman and Texarkana, if you know where that is, along the Oklahoma border. It is a beautiful morning. I'm up here for business. There's some fog out. I've heard some gunfire. Looks like some folks are hunting deer. It's nice and cool this morning. It's probably in the low 50s, early high 40s. But it is a beautiful, beautiful day here in Paris, Texas. And this morning, I am going to review for you GL Pease Quiet Nights. I do not have the can, so I just figured I would take a picture of it. GL Pease Quiet Nights. This is an 8-ounce tin that I bought. I believe it cost about, I got a little discount code, so I believe it was right around $38 with tax and shipping and everything. It was closer to 50. But it is an English blend from what I have read, and let me read the description here for you. It is a tobacco that contains Latakia, Oriental, Perique, and Virginia. The style is English, and the details are, excuse me, Quiet Nights is a rich and remarkable smooth blend of Latakia, Virginias, Orientals, and just enough Perique to create intrigue without being intrusive. This is a superb blend for later in the evening while relaxing. Now, while it's true, it says later, it's for later in the evening. You know, quite frankly, I can smoke it anytime. It is a good blend. I've smoked about half of the 8, so about 4 of the 8 ounces. And I'm going to smoke it for you this morning and give you my thoughts. I'll be back when I have it lit and am ready to go. So I've got the pipe lit. I've got my coffee. Excuse me this morning. You know, I'm not a big room note person. My wife doesn't really care for the smell of pipe tobacco. So she's typically not around me when I smoke it. So I'm more about the flavor, the taste, the smell, how it smells to me. And so to me, it's a very pleasant smell. It's a true English blend. It has a great, kind of almost a musty smell to it. First impressions, I mean, I can taste the Virginias, the sweetness. The Perique has not really made itself known yet. And my past experience says that you get about a third of the way through the bowl before you really start to taste that and to smell that and to have that flavoring. This is a great blend to pair with coffee. Whether you drink it black or have a little sweetener or cream to it, it does well with both. You can tell the hunters are out this morning. I haven't seen any, but I'm sure they're around, especially if you hear the gunshots. Those were off in the distance a little ways. What I'm struck by first smoking this, at least the first third, is the smoothness. There is a definite smoothness to it, and sometimes with Perique and Latakia, you don't get that smoothness, but I believe there's enough Virginias in this mix to really smooth everything out, and the burley in it smooths everything out. And so it's very pleasant first thing here in the morning. I think it's about 6:30. And you know, one of the things I'm struck with as I smoke my pipe is, when I was commenting on the sweetness of the Virginias, is that's some good coffee. I'm struck by the sweetness in life. You know, we all go through hard times. We all go through, hopefully, good times. And we have those valleys in the middle. And I do believe that, you know, we are in a constant state of growth in life. And the Lord will give us times in life where everything just seems to be flowing the right way. Sweetness in life. And that can happen in the midst of some things in life that don't feel as sweet. I've got a son-in-law who has stage 4 cancer. And you know, the reports on him don't look good. But that doesn't stop me from praying. That doesn't stop me from believing. I believe that I have a Lord and Savior who said that we will do these things, right? We will perform these miracles. Paul says it, that the signs will follow those who believe, that the sick will be made well. And so it doesn't stop me from praying for my son-in-law during these times. But in my own personal life, things right now are sweet. I've got a great job. I've got a great family. Building a house. Life seems to be going well. And I know there's going to be challenges to overcome. There's going to be things that are going to come up against me. But I have faith that those sweet times will come again when I go through those difficulties. And so that's what's on my thoughts and mind today as I review this blend for you. I'm going to smoke a little bit more of it and be back to you in a moment. Again, this is GLP's Quiet Nights, and this is the Crusty Codger. I'll be back with you shortly. So I'm about a third of the way through the bowl. And what's starting to really strike me is the balance between the Virginias and the Perique with the Latakia. There's none of those tobaccos that is overwhelming the other. Balance is the word that I would use to describe this blend. It is to me a perfect balance. It's truly a yummy smoke. The retrohale does not sting the nostrils. So it really is smooth on all fronts, balanced on all fronts to me. You know, I've experienced some blends that have the Perique in them, that have the Latakia, that are not nearly as balanced. Either they're Latakia forward, in some cases Perique forward, which doesn't require a whole lot of Perique, but it almost is too spicy, too peppery. But the Quiet Nights here is balanced with some leathery notes that I've tasted. And just enough spice to make it interesting. Sorry, I'm distracted by a fawn. I'm struck by how beautiful it is out here. We rented a Verbo here in Paris. And if you're ever here, I would highly recommend this place. In fact, I'll include a link of it in the video. I think it's not Verbo. I believe it is Airbnb. It's advertised through. It's a truly beautiful place. This is a little cabin that we have, as you can tell. Very spacious, very well decorated, very kind of a rustic feel to it, a lot of cedar. And just across the fence line here, they're building another one, I was told by the owners, which is more of a kind of like styled after an old blacksmith shop. And it'll have a living quarters in it. My wife and I are going to go look at it this morning, or later this morning. But it truly is beautiful out here. I'll include a link for it. If you guys are ever in the area, I'd highly recommend these folks. They're super nice, great Christian folks that have done a really good job out here. Look at that, I talked too much and let my pipe go out, and let me start it back up, and I'll be back with you. Now that I'm about halfway down in the bowl, I am really starting to taste the spiciness, the perique even more, the punch. I can feel or taste the peppery notes on my tongue. You can smell it in the air more. I think the bowl is getting a little warmer, and I think that probably adds to the experience as well. But it stays balanced. So even though I'm tasting more of the spice, more of the pepper, more of the perique and the latakia, the blend, the balance is still incredible with this blend. This is, if not my favorite blend, this is one of my top ones. So I do highly recommend this. You know, I said I don't like talking about the room note for others, but for me, just the smell is quite pleasant. And, you know, as I've continued on my pipe journey, one thing I've noticed is that I'm at a phase now where I'm preferring stronger blends. And so I'm going to try more of the stronger English blends. If any of you have any comments for me on ones that I should try next that have more flavors, you know, quite a bit more punch, please leave them in the comment section, and I certainly will buy a tin or two and try those. As you know, I don't particularly do first impressions. I like to get a number of bowls under my belt before I give a review. But that being said, I'd be willing to do a review on anything that you guys would recommend to me. One of the things I've talked about is how smoking a pipe gives you time for reflection. And so in this video, there's been more quiet times, more pauses, if you will. You know, one thing I think about is when I'm smoking this blend is contentment. Being content in life. It doesn't mean you don't want more. It doesn't mean you don't have goals. It doesn't mean that you you don't have plans. But it means that in the current situation you're in the current time you're in, you're content. For me, I learned a long time ago, Pastor Arthur preached a sermon, it's been probably 20 years ago, and he talked about happiness, and he had an interesting quote, and I've heard it before, and I'm sure you know, it's been said many times, but that happiness is a choice. It's not a destination. In other words, you don't have to have all these things that have happened to you in life come at you to get you to a point where you can be happy. You can choose to be happy in your current circumstance. And sometimes that is easier said than done, because it can feel like the gates of hell are coming against you. But you can find things in your life that you can be thankful for and grateful for. You can find those things. You just have to look. It reminds me of a friend I know that has passed about 10 years ago. His name was Bruce. And Bruce was a simple guy, but he always was in a lot of pain, a lot of physical pain, a lot of back pain. And what would make him happy was fishing or hunting. And perhaps it's the shots of the sound of deer hunters that this morning that reminded me of that. But he was in constant physical pain, underwent a number of operations. But he found happiness. He found something to take his mind off the pain. And whether that was fishing or hunting, spending time outdoors, that's what Bruce did. And you know, this morning I'm with this beautiful scenery out here. I'm reminded of our the world we live in, and it's a beautiful place. You just have to stop and take a moment, as the movie Ferris Bueller, when he says that you know, life, you gotta stop and look around. You'll miss it if you don't. And the years will go by, and you won't have taken time to enjoy all that life has to offer. And smoking a pipe of good tobacco is one of those things. There's some moisture in the pipe. I can feel the gurgling. Well, I'm going to smoke more of this pipe, and as I get further down in the bowl, I'll be back with some comments to leave you guys with. Thank you. Thank you for your attention. This has been a great smoke so far, and it's given me a lot of things to think about while I'm out here. Talk to you in a bit. As I'm getting further down to the bowl, the experience that I've had before with smoking this blend, the GL Pease Quiet Nights, is I'm starting to get the familiar spiciness that comes as you get further down into the bowl. The first third of it, to me, it was more of a Virginia forward blend with the spicy notes of the Perique and the smokiness of the Latakia, more of a secondary note. And as you smoke further down into the bowl, what I'm experiencing is I'm starting to, the Perique and the Latakia are coming forward, and so I'm tasting those a lot more now. And what I think is great about that experience is you get the sweetness first, and the spiciness comes as you move along. And that I really enjoy that progression from the sweet to the spice to the peppery notes. On another note, I've bought this pipe lighter off of eBay. Off of Amazon. And it's a pretty good lighter, but the only problem that I have with these soft flame lighters is they tend to, if there's any wind at all, they tend to want to go to not light very well. And I have bought just an old-fashioned Zippo lighter, and the flame doesn't seem to be high enough, especially when you need to relight your pipe when it's halfway or more down the bowl. And so if any of you have recommendation on a lighter that I can buy, a good soft flame lighter that's more wind resistant than the Zippo. This one is nice because it's got all the tools built in, so I only have to, I don't have to carry a separate tamper and scraper and everything. But if you guys have any recommendations, please leave them in the comment section. I was talking about the sweetness and spice of the tobacco. And so the notes I will leave you with are more about life than tobacco. Is enjoy the sweet, look forward to the spicy, but be content in your present. This is the Crusty Codger for Pease Quiet Nights. I highly recommend the blend. It is delicious with coffee. It goes with bourbon. Hell, it goes with anything. You guys have a great day. I look forward to your comments. Until I talk to you later, have a good one.